කතානායකතුමනි 2024 GC උසස් පෙළ විභාග ප්‍රතිඵල පසුගිය දිනවල පුවත්පත් හරහා නිකුත් කරන ලදී. මෙම තොරතුරු අනුව මුළුමනින්ම 2,74,371 දෙනෙක් A level විභාගයට මුහුණ දී ඇත. 1,77,588ක් හෝ 65%ක් දෙනෙකු විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ප්‍රවේශය සඳහා සුදුසුකම් ලබා ඇත. එම 1,77,588 දෙනාගේ සම්භාව්‍ය වසරකට ආසන්නව 50,000ක් පමණ රාජ්‍ය විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ පිවිසිය හැකිය. 29,270ක් පමණ සියලුම විෂයන් තුනම අසමත් වී ඇත. ඒ ඉහත දක්වා ඇති තොරතුරු නිවැරදි නම් අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය හා අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍ය පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට පහත කරුණු සම්බන්ධයෙන් උපදෙස් දෙනු ඇතැයි මම විශ්වාස කරනවා. 1. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ රාජ්‍ය විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ගණන කීයද? 2024 වසර සඳහා මුළු පිළිගැනීම් හැකියාව කීයද? 2. විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ සිසුවෙකුට වාර්ෂිකව රජය වියදම් කරන පිරිවැය ඇස්තමේන්තු වශයෙන් කීයද? 3. විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ප්‍රවේශයට සුදුසුකම් ලැබුවද රාජ්‍ය විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයකට පිවිසිය නොහැකි සිසුන්ට සිදුවන්නේ කුමක්ද? 4. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ උසස් අධ්‍යාපන අවස්ථාව අඩු වී නිසා වසරකට විදේශගත වන සිසුන් ගණන කීයද? විදේශගත වීම නිසා වසරකට නිකම් පාවන විදේශ විනිමය ප්‍රමාණය කීයද? මේ වසරකට සම්භාව්‍ය 35,000ක් පමණ සිසුන් විසින් ඇමරිකන් ඩොලර් මිලියන් 350ක් පමණ වැයවීමක්ද? 5. රජය වැඩි වශයෙන් ගුණාත්මක පුද්ගලික විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ස්ථාපනය කිරීමටත් එය ප්‍රවර්ධනය කිරීමටත් හැකි නැද්ද? 6. වසර 2022 සහ 23 සඳහා වාර්ෂිකව ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අධ්‍යාපනය ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා විදේශීය සිසුන් කොපමණ දෙනෙකු පිළිගන්නාද? මැලේසියාව, ඉන්දුනීසියාව, තායිලන්තය, ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාව වැනි රටවල් මෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට අධ්‍යාපනික සංචාරකවත් ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරමින් අපට දැඩිව අවශ්‍ය විදේශ විනිමය උපයා ගන්න නොහැකිද? 2016 දී පවසා ඇති පරිදි දැනට ස්ථාපිත වී ඇති පෞද්ගලික විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ඇතුළත් වීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වන සිසුන් සඳහා පොලී රහිත ණය ලබා දිය නොහැකිද? මේ 2016 අපි පටන් ගත්ත වැඩපිළිවෙල. B. 2025 මැයි 3 වෙනිදා දින ඩේලි මිරර් පුවත්පතේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා මුද්‍රණ කිරීම විරෝධී නීතිය නොසලකා හැරේ යන මාතෘකාව යටතේ පළමු ලිපියක් සබරගමු විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ දෙවැනි වසරේ සිසුවෙකුට මරණය හේතු වී සම්බන්ධ කම්කරු සිද්ධියන් අනාවරණය කර ඇත. මෙම දුකදීප සිදුවීම අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන මුද්‍රණ කිරීම සහ අනෙකුත් ප්‍රචණ්ඩ ಕ್ರಿಯಾ තහනම් කිරීම පනත ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමේ දැඩි බිඳවැටීමක් පෙන්වයි. මෙම පනත අපරාධයක ලෙස සලකයි. නීතිමය පියවර තිබුණද බොහෝ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය මුද්‍රණ කිරීම නොනවතන අයුරින් සිදුවෙයි. විශේෂයෙන් පළමු වසරේ සිසුන් භෞතික මානසික ලිංගික අතුරන්ට ලක්වෙති. අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ ප්‍රකාශ කරන ඇත්තේ මුද්‍රණ කිරීම විරෝධී නීතිය පිළිබඳ දැනුවත් කිරීම අඩු බවත් එම නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමේ ක්‍රමවර්ධය ක්‍රියා විරහිත හෝ අක්‍රිය බවත්ය. මෙම පදනම මත අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශය විමසීමට කැමැත්තෙමි. 1. සබරගමු විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ මතුවී ඇති දුකදීප සිද්ධිය සම්බන්ධයෙන් වහාම ක්‍රියාත්මක කළ පියවර කවරේද? 2. විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය මුද්‍රණ කිරීම සොයා බැලීම වාර්තා කිරීම සහ වැළැක්වීම සඳහා පවතින ක්‍රම මොනවාද? මෙම අනිකුත් සිදුවීම් වැළැක්වීමට එය අසමත් වූයේ ඇයි? අමාත්‍යාංශය විරෝධී නීතිය පිළිබඳ සහ එය උල්ලංඝනය කිරීමේ ප්‍රතිවිපාක පිළිබඳ ජාතික මට්ටමේ දැනුවත් කිරීමේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය ආරම්භ කිරීම සලකා බැලුවද? පසුගිය වාර්තා වී ඇති සිදුවීම් වලට ගත්ත පියවර කවරේද? 4. රජය විසින් මේ තහනම් කර පනත ක්‍රියාත්මක වීම නැවත සමාලෝචනය කර අනිවාර්ය මඟ පෙන්වීම සඳහා නිදහස් සිසු පැමිණිලි පද්ධතිය ඇතුළත් වන ආකාරයෙන් අවශ්‍ය සංශෝධන හඳුන්වා දෙනු ඇතිද? රජය විසින් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල වඩා සිසු හිතයිකාමී පරිසරයක් නිර්මාණය කළ නොහැකිද? 6. විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ක්‍රියාත්මක වන ලියාපදිංචි සිසු සංගම් නම් කරන්න. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමනි. Honourable Speaker, I just want to draw your attention to Standing Order 27.2, which allows for this type of question to be raised, and I know this has been discussed in the Business Committee also. It says that the Secretary General shall, upon receipt of any notices in respect of any question, unless the Speaker rules any question out of order, including the order book for answer on a day not earlier than 7 clear days from the day on which the notice was given, provided that any question relating to a matter of urgent public importance may be asked by the leader of an opposition or a leader of a recognized political party at the conclusion of questions. Okay? I will respond to this question from Honourable Ravi Karunanayaka, but I also want to place on record. This question could easily be asked under normal oral questions. The nature of this question is not of urgent national importance, to ask about how many state universities are there in the country. These are questions that can be raised under oral questions, can be asked under adjournment questions, can be asked, brought as an adjournment motion. There are several other ways. 27.2 must be used to raise issues of national importance, of urgency. So I request the Honourable Speaker to give a ruling on how the nature of these questions and the appropriateness of these questions. There are 13 questions that have been raised by the Honourable Minister under 27.2. These questions were brought to my notice of the notice of my office only yesterday. Right, so it is 13 questions under 2 sections. Section A has 7 questions, Section B has 6 questions. Most of these questions can be raised, Honourable Member, under any other issue. I mean, if you wanted to raise the issue specifically about Sabaragamuwa, that's a relevant issue which could have been raised as a single question. And I'm happy to answer. I will answer all of your questions. But I'm raising this as a point of order and for your ruling. This is not appropriate in my view.
Garu Ravi Karnataka Mantritumaa.
Prime Minister, I want to respond to the Prime Minister.
I don't want to get, Honourable Member, I don't want to get into a debate on this.
No, you can raise the issue with the Speaker. Let the PM finish.
I don't want to get into a debate on this. I'm not asking the Honourable Member to respond either. I'm asking for the Speaker to make a ruling on this, on the nature of questions that may be permitted under 27.2. I will now proceed to answer the questions. That's a separate issue. But in my mind, this is a misinterpretation and a misrepresentation, and if I may say, an abuse of the privileges under 27.2. 27.2 is specifically for urgent issues of an issue to be raised that is of particular significance in the moment. Now, questions such as how many state universities are there in the country and what is the intake per year to all universities is not an urgent issue. I'm happy to answer this, right? How many students leave the country for higher education? No, how many students leave the country for higher education? Again, something that can be asked under oral questions or as an adjournment question, right? There are many other ways in which these questions can be raised. Okay, so I'm requesting the Speaker for a ruling on this. Now I will answer the questions with your permission.
මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මගේ රෝලින් එක 27 දෙක යටතේ ලබන සතිವಾರයේ පටන් ලබන දිනේදී මම ලබා දීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Right. May I respond to the questions now? Right. How many? Okay. Under Section A, Question 1, there are 17 universities and 18 higher educational institutions.
Garu Ravi Karnataka Mantritumaa මොකද්ද point of order? Point of order එක ඔබතුමාගේ?
Honourable Speaker.
Point of order එක ඔබතුමාගේ?
Yes. I am basically asking.
Please refer the
Prime Minister was on the feet questioning the mannerism as to why he had taken this matter up. A-level results were discharged only about 3 weeks ago. So the intake of that happens to be in the next couple of days.
ඔබතුමා අහන්නේ මොකද්ද point of order එක මොකද්ද standing order එක තියෙන මේක?
අන්නේ කතානායකතුමනි මොකද්ද මේ අපිව
ඔබතුමා රිෆර් කරන්න ඔබතුමා රිෆර් කරන්නකෝ ස්ටෑන්ඩින් ඕඩර් එකේ තියෙන මේ රටට
Honorable Speaker, I am not raising this expecting a response from the honorable member. I am bringing this to the notice of the Speaker, and you have said that you will give a ruling on this. I will wait for your ruling. In the meantime, I will answer your questions. So under section A, question 1, there are 17 universities and 18 higher educational institutes under purview of the University Grants Commission. The proposed intake for 24-25 academic year GCE A-level 2024 is 43,237. There are another 5 universities which have been established under separate acts, and they will also be admitting students under their according to their separate acts. What is the rough cost per student per year for the university? What's the cost of educating a student? This is also very variable because it depends on the program that the student is enrolled for. But an average figure is rupees, and this is according to the costs calculated in 2022. Average cost is rupees 405,313 rupees. What happens to the student? The question is, what happens to students who qualify for university but are unable to enter a state university? This is somewhat a vague question because all students who sit for the A-levels do not necessarily intend to get into state universities. They may have multiple motivations. Some of them may go directly to employment. Some of them may go abroad. Some of them may enter private higher educational institutions. There are external degree programs conducted by universities under the purview of the UGC. There is also the Open University of Sri Lanka, which offers open and distance learning facilities for students to enter into higher education, for young adults for adults to enter higher education at any point. There's the Institute of Technology, University of Moratuwa, Institute of Agrotechnology and Rural Sciences, University of Colombo, and there are many higher educational institutions offering vocational streams within the state sector also. In fact, there are also 29 non-state universities and higher education institutes where students who have not been selected directly from A-levels may also be admitted. Question 4, it is noted that most students leaving the country for higher educational opportunities are through various private institutions or privately, and therefore there is no data available with the Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education about the number of students who leave for higher education. Also, it is not necessarily because there are lack of opportunities, or that's not the only reason. It's also a choice that students can choose to study abroad, and that's a choice that we have to respect and allow for. It doesn't mean that they are going abroad because there are no opportunities here. Currently, private higher education providers offering local degree programs are recognized under the provisions of the Universities Act number 16 of 1978. And this recognition is granted through the procedures that are stipulated in the Act. In line with the government's vision to enhance the quality and diversity of higher education in Sri Lanka, I have directed the University Grants Commission to take the leadership in the development of a comprehensive policy framework for non-state higher education sector. Once a review is done of the existing landscape in the non-state higher education sector, we will then make take appropriate steps as to how this should be regulated and how recognition should be provided to non-state higher educational institutions. But we first need to get accurate information as to the current existing landscape. There are the foreign students in universities and higher education institutions under the purview of the UGC. The numbers are as follows. In 2023, there were 240. In 2022, there were 217. In 2023, there were 806 postgraduate students. In 2022, there were 724 postgraduate students. The earlier numbers were of undergraduate students. Question number 7. The government continues to implement the interest-free interest-free student loan scheme, which was introduced in 2017, in line as proposed in the 2017 budget proposal. This initiative was launched with the intention of expanding access to higher education. And these schemes enable eligible students to pursue degree programs at recognized non-state higher education institutes through interest-free loans. Initially, a maximum loan amount of rupees 800,000 was provided for the first from intakes 1 to 7. But according to a cabinet decision number 24/1721/607/127, dated 2nd September 2024, this amount was increased up to rupees 1,500,000 for certain subject streams from intake 8 onwards. In addition, a stipend of rupees 300,000 is also provided to support living and incidental expenses. From 2017 to 2024, over 22,000 students have benefited from this scheme across 8 intakes, with more than 17,000 students currently continuing their studies or having completed their degrees. Section B. Question 1. The UGC, this is with regard to the incident that took place at Sabaragamuwa University. The UGC has initiated an inquiry into this. There's a committee that has been appointed to investigate the event. This is separate to the police investigation that is happening. Representatives from the UGC have also been appointed to this investigation committee to investigate into the lead up and the incidents surrounding the tragic death of the student at the university. The Vice Chancellor of Sabaragamuwa University has instructed the chair of the investigation committee to also include the representatives proposed by UGC to this committee. Question 2. The Center for Gender Equity and Equality maintains a 24/7 online complaint portal since 2017 and a helpline operating during working hours to receive complaints on ragging, sexual and gender-based violence. We recently had a discussion and we've taken steps to make sure that this helpline is operational 24 hours of the day. The complaints are also received through emails, letters, in person, and all of these are fed to the online complaint portal. The complaints are then referred to the gender focal point in the university and referred to the Vice Chancellor within 3 working days for an initial investigation, and the Vice Chancellor must report back to the UGC within a 2-week period. There are also preventative measures that are being taken, that have been taken in the past, which we've asked the UGC to intensify now, on introduction of workshops, awareness programs, that are some which have been based on the findings of a research conducted in 2018 by the Center for Gender Equity Equality, titled Prevalence of Ragging and Sexual and Gender-Based Violence in Sri Lankan State Universities. We've asked that awareness programs on preventing these issues also be intensified within the university system. The ministry had a meeting last week with all the vice chancellors, marshals, and others responsible for student discipline and dealing with these matters, including gender focal points of all universities last week. And it was proposed that a task force be established to identify short-term steps that can be taken to deal with these issues, as well as medium and long-term issues, because we understand that this issue is complicated. Ragging is no longer what my generation, at least, understands as ragging. It's much more complicated. It is not only ragging, there's bullying, there's harassment, there's online violence, all of this which needs to be looked at, investigated, understood, and a proper mechanism set up to address these issues. So there are two things that we are doing. One is that we have instructed the Vice Chancellors and the UGC to make sure that the existing law is implemented to the letter. But that is a punitive matter. We are also very focused on preventative matters and making sure that the university environment in no way supports these kinds of incidents. So this is why this task force has been established to identify what measures need to be taken to address this issue. We are looking, if necessary, if the task force recommends, if the Vice Chancellors also and the UGC feel that the existing legislation is insufficient, we will review the existing legislation or bring in new legislation as necessary. But I want to emphasize again, punitive measures in and of itself is not going to address this problem. This is far more complicated. It is also linked to student welfare, student support, and so what is required is a comprehensive approach to dealing with this issue holistically. The CGE, the Center for Gender Equity and Equality, has initiated the establishment of a survivor support system, which is designed to support victims of violence, of ragging, of harassment to come forward, and also to support witnesses and to facilitate the reporting of these incidents, but also to make sure that those who report and those who come forward with these complaints are supported through this process as well. The Honourable Member has requested for the names of all registered student unions operating in the universities. Since this question reached me yesterday, I have not obtained all the information yet. So this information is not available with me at the moment. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
For answering it in the best manner that is possible. You question the motive of me as a member of parliament asking the question. And that's right. Honourable Speaker, I would like to be heard.
මගේ ප්‍රකාශයක් ලබා දෙන බව දැන් 27 2 යටතේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමිය ඇසුවට පස්සේ ලබා දෙනවා කියලා ප්‍රකාශ කරලා තියෙනවා. මම ඊට පස්සේ ඔබතුමාට ආයෙ නැවත ගැන අහන්න බෑ. මම ප්‍රකාශය ලබා දෙන තෙක් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කටයුතු ඇසීමට ඔබට අවස්ථාවක් නැත. ගරු අමාත්‍යාංශ නිවේදන මුදල් අතුරු ප්‍රශ්නයයි මේ නෑ ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් එතුමිය ආපු විදිහට මම දැන් ඩිස්කෂන් එක ලබා මගේ දෙනවා කියලා කිව්වට පස්සේ නෑ ආයේ නෑ ඒ කාරණාව සම්බන්ධව මගේ ඩිස්කෂන් එක දෙනවා කියලා කිව්වට පස්සේ ඔබතුමා ඊට පස්සේ ආයේ ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කතා කිරීමට නොහැකි. මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශ නිවේදන මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශ ක්‍රම සම්පාදන සහ ආර්ථික සංවර්ධන අමාත්‍යතුමා වෙනුවෙන් මුදල් සහ ක්‍රම සම්පාදන නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍ය ගරු ආචාර්ය හර්ෂණ සූර්ය අප්පෙරමුණ. ඔබතුමාට නැවතත් ඒ කාරණාව සම්බන්ධයෙන් කතා කරන්න නොහැකි මගේ ඩිස්කෂන් එක දුන්නාට පස්සේ කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. කරුණාකර රවි කරුණානායක මන්ත්‍රීතුමා අසුන් ගන්න.
පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නයට පිළිතුර